We are live. Hey guys, I'm Wolfie, and today there is no Wolfie and Poggy show postponed tomorrow. Sad face. But hey, we're still here. We made it. We got a show still. We got things to talk about. 49ers news, things we can update ourselves on. Some players elevated, some players have been promoted. And then we're going to check out the injury report, of course, and then obviously talk about the 49ers versus Dolphins and what it exactly means for both teams, really. And we'll dive right into that. And of course, before we ever get into anything on this show, we are brought to you by our sponsor, water. We would not be here today without it. It is one of the best things for you. It cleans out your organs, cleans out your body, helps with your arteries, everything, you name it. It's super important, and you get super luscious skin. By the way, this skin right here, no filter. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. Get yourself some water. It's good for you. Got to make it happen. So today we're going to jump into things, and we'll do the thing per usual. The first thing we always jump into, which is the injury report. Get that out of the way, and then we'll jump into the rest of the subjects. Okay. All right. Injury report. Bringing it up right now. Sup, man? Came right away. Hey, Niners for life. Hey, man. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. Hope your Christmas week is going pretty well. It's going smooth. Welcome. It's kind of chilly these days, so I thought I'd bring out the sweater. I live in the South of America, so it's like, pretty hot all the time, so I never bring this out, but now is the time to bring it out, which is finally the weather is, fits it, and I brought my beanie. So hope you're doing well. Hope you're warm. Hope you're ready for Christmas, the holidays. Let's do this. Appreciate you. Let's jump into the injury report. Biggest thing. All right, so Malik Collins did not practice. He had illness, and if that's an illness, he has full participation on Friday. He's going to play, of course. You got Isaac Guerrero, foot, hamstring. I hear the hamstring's a lot worse than is expected, so probably he's going to be out for the rest of the season, which is not bad. I mean, it's not like we're going to playoffs or anything. But with him out, we'll go ahead. We're going to see more of Abani Konda and Patrick Taylor. I feel like this is a tryout for next year. So these next couple of games are pretty important for these two running backs, and we'll jump into that and talk about that more. Trent Williams obviously has an ankle injury. He's going to be out for the rest of the year. Older guy. I mean, he might even not have an ankle injury at this point, but I mean, like, you want him rested for next year because he's going to be here next year. So he's also probably going to be out for the rest of the season, and I don't blame him. Nick Bosa was limited in practice, did not practice, limited in practice. He's got to play based on what he said after that Rams game. He's got to play. All right. If you're going to come out in the post conference, say, hey, we need to see who wants to be and who doesn't. You need to go out there and lead by example. I know he's hurt and some people want him to rest, but I mean, after saying something like that, you need to represent the team and go out there and play. Maybe not try your hardest. I don't know. Maybe take some plays off here and there, but he's got to be out there and play some snaps. Dre Greenlaw is limited practice all week. Some people think he's not going to play. Some people don't want him to play. I think he should play, not just because I want to see him out there and see this defense perform, but I need to see what this guy can do for next year. Him himself needs to see what he can do next year. And also, it's his contract year. This is a very big deal for him. He needs to play for himself. He needs to go out there and show that he can still do it. From the last game I saw, I was sold. But for the rest of the teams, they need to see that he can do it consistently and that he's not, just a one-hit wonder coming back from that injury and play real well against the Rams. He had 10 days off. I want to see it. I know a lot of 49ers fans actually want to see him rested. But again, he's going to be a free agent this offseason. So he needs to have this. He needs to go out there and play and show what he could do. For not just us, if we can't sign him, he needs to do it for the rest of the NFL to prove to himself that he can still play. Jalen Moore had a hip injury. I do need to see him out there. I'm not going to lie to you. Jalen Moore has actually performed a little bit better this year than I expected, but he's still not that great. Maybe a good depth piece at this point. Probably better than McKivitz, which I guess does say a lot, but considering he was a lot worse than McKivitz starting out, from what it seemed, looks like he's going to be better than McKivitz in the end. He's limited practice, full participation in practice. We're going to see him out there today. He's going to protect Brock Purdy. Malik Mustafa had a chest injury, limited practice, full participation in practice. That means we're probably going to see some Malik Mustafa out there. Nick Sakel, limited practice, full participation. He had illness, so he should be out there to play as well. Probably playing back. No, he should play left guard because Ben Barch is out. I don't know if Banks is back yet. Is Banks on this list? Yeah, Banks is on this list. He's full participation in practice, so he should play. So we're not going to see Nick Sakel. That's kind of a bonus, not going to lie. Jair Brown is full participation in practice. Flanagan Fowles, full participation. Hufanga, Winters, and all these players here are probably going to play because we do need to see them. Like I said, no players need to rest, especially after what all the captains had to say after the Rams game, saying, hey, we need to see who wants to be here. We need to see if these players want to be here or not. Jair Brown's going through a sophomore slump, but he needs to get every rep possible. Hufanga may come back. We'll see. It just depends on how it all works out. If Hufanga comes back, that'd be fantastic. I think we should sign him if he doesn't ask for top 5 market, not even top 10 market. No offense. The dude sometimes misses tackles, and he's not that fast. He's a great in-the-box nickel safety. All right, that's his thing. That's what he's good at, and I think that's what you should pay him for. D. Winters had neck injury, full participation practice. I want to see more of D. Winters, especially if we don't end up signing Greenlaw. I need to see if D. Winters can go out there and play. And then Robert Beal Jr. has dealt with an ankle injury, limited practice, questionable. We're not really miss out anything on him. He looks like a bust. I know he's a 5th-round draft pick, but I guess you would call him a bust at this point because he can't do shit. He's absolute garbo. He's trash. So that's the injury report for the 49ers. A lot of players should be playing. The ones that I'm happy not playing is Trent Williams because he does need that rest, especially after going through personal tragedy. He needs to come back next year healthy, fully healthy, because even if we draft an offensive tackle, we need to have some assurances. And Trent Williams having this rest and this time off, especially at age 37, because he'll be 37 next year, he could use this time off. So he's going to be out for the rest of the year. Proper 49 in the house. Extension was profitable for Trent. It sure was. Poor guy. Yep, indeed it was. But hey, that's why you get that. That's why you get the deals, man. That's why you get the extension, more guaranteed money. It's because just in case you do get hurt, that's what it's for. And the holdout probably didn't help because he wasn't really performing anyway. But the injury aspect of it all, that's why you get the extension and more guaranteed money. Because I don't think he had any more guaranteed money on his contract. And so, with that being said, he wouldn't be getting paid right now that guaranteed cash with him being out. But we do need to draft an offensive tackle, regardless of him coming back next year, regardless of that extension, because we need a little more assurances. Even though Trent is not playing up to par like he used to, he's still playing like a good offensive tackle. So there's still something to look at there, something to look forward to next year for Trent. It's not like he took a huge drop off like Ayuk did come from his holdout. Ayuk was absolutely terrible coming back from his holdout, and then he got hurt. So hopefully these players can rest, like Ayuk, like Trent, like CMC, and come back next year and be really more fully loaded than they were this year. Because those guys are coming back guaranteed. Those weapons, those players are coming back guaranteed. As for Debo, he's probably coming back, guys. I know you guys don't want to hear that, but brother, he's coming back. I mean, we got way too much guaranteed money on the books for him. We signed him to that extension in the offseason. Terrible decision, something we shouldn't have done, but it is what it is. We're in the boat. It's up to Debo. Debo tends to have like a up and down season. Like he has a good season, a bad season, good season, a bad season. You go look at his stats and it will tell you that story. So hopefully this is just his bad season and that next year is just his good season. And he goes out there and he proves himself. Hey, I'm still somewhat of that guy and that this was just my down year. But I'm telling you, he's going to come back next year, whether we like it or not. And most likely we'll probably be able to get out from under him in 2026, just not in 2025. If we cut him, I would not hate it. If we eat that money somehow, the 49ers have plans for it. Like, okay, we can make this sacrifice. I'm all for it. The dude's cost us games. In my opinion, I know that Brock Purdy threw that costly interception. I knew there was other things out there that cost us that game. But the pinnacle, the top tier problem that made us lose that game against the Rams, it was in fact Debo dropping that ball. Because the moment Debo dropped that ball, which would have been a touchdown, everything went downhill. It was already kind of bad. But we were kind of pushing it, get closer and closer and closer to the end zone. But after that, it got harder and harder and harder up until the point where I feel like Brock just felt like he needed to do more than he should have. I just felt like he was like, okay, clearly these players are dropping balls. Debo's dropping balls. I got to do this myself. And I just feel like the pressure got to him there. I feel like he had to put it over on his shoulders. Hey, let me go out there and try to win this game instead of just taking the check down. And I know I'll keep going on a rant here, but one thing that bothers me is that, like, if you're calling Brock Purdy a check down merchant, it's kind of funny because if he was, he would have checked it down in that situation instead of throwing it deep. The man is a gunslinger. Yeah, he doesn't have the arm for net really a gunslinger, but the dude likes to throw it. The dude likes to throw it deep. The dude likes to throw it to intermediate passes. He's not a check down merchant. He's quite the opposite. So it's so weird, some of the narratives that Brock Purdy has, which is like he has a weak arm. I'm sorry, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, weak arm. He's a check down merchant. I'm sorry, he's constantly throwing it intermediate passes. He literally did not check it down when he should have. So, I mean, that's the opposite of what a check down merchant is. Then also, some people say he can't throw the deep pass. He literally threw deep passes last year, and he was first in that. And before you say, oh, his weapons made it happen, no, they didn't. They didn't make incredible catches. It wasn't like, oh, what a catch. No, Brock Purdy threw it perfectly after perfect after perfect after perfect throw. So this narrative, you can't throw it deep, and that you need to have a strong arm and not a noodle arm, and that he's a check down merchant, are just false narratives. Just narratives to try to convince you that a 7th round draft pick isn't as good as you think he is. He's an absolute baller. He's good at his job. He does what he goes out there and tries to do what it takes to win a game. He is not a check down merchant. It's terrible. Anyway, Devo Prod's in the house. Hero baller, maybe too much, but he expects receivers to complete for the ball. Like, I mean, you do expect the receiver, once it touches the receiver's hands, if it's in this general area, I don't care what the situation is, you need to catch that. If it touches your hands like this, or if it's in his vicinity like this, you need to catch that shit. That is your job. Okay, and that's what Brock Purdy did last year. You can go back and watch all of Brock Purdy's passes last year. There was maybe 3 out of how many catches that Ayuk had that you could say, okay, that was a great catch by Ayuk. 3. I'm not saying like, oh, it was no crazy one-hand catches. There was no like, oh, he went around a defender and made a crazy-ass catch that fell into his hands. No, man, he threw the ball consistently into the hands, giving the receiver a chance to catch it while throwing it deep consistently first in that. So this narrative that Brock Purdy is all these things is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense to me. It's just people who don't watch the games or pay attention to the stats or see what he actually does, just trying to justify why this season is bad. And it's like you cannot throw this season onto one player. Football is a team sport, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Tara Doe in the house. Good to see you. Wolf in the house. Hey, we're in the house, man. We're here. I went to the 49ers versus Bears game. I think you told me that. I think I heard about that. I think you said that you got taste of that, man. I think you told me that. That's awesome, man. You got to see an excellent show from what I heard. I didn't get to watch it, though. That Trey catch in the preseason was a joke. His offseason practice with Trey helped him get better. That Trey catch in preseason was a joke. His offseason practice with Trey helped him get better. I'm confused by that statement. But, bro, it was sick. So the hate on Purdy is – I could debate that all day. It's ridiculous. I can debate that all day, for real. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the 49ers moves. That happened. The 49ers have waived Sebastian Gutierrez. I probably butchered the shit out of that last name, but we waived him. He's an offensive lineman. We had to move on from him. We promoted Jalen Graham to the active roster. Same thing with Austin Pleasant's active roster. I hear a lot of people are really high on Austin Pleasant. I don't know enough about him, but from what I hear from other content creators who are like Larry Kruger and a couple other people, they said they actually like his potential. They're not saying he's going to be like a top dog or like he's going to be a starter or anything, but if we can get some good depth on offensive line and he shows that he could do that, I'm all for it. With Brock Purdy going to get the contract, he's going to get paid. Brock Purdy is going to get paid. We need to focus solely on the trenches, specifically the offensive line. We need to protect that asset. He's making way too much money, and to just sacrifice him out there and be like, continue to go out there and play against one of the trash lines out there and get your ass beat. Continue to go out there and be one of the most scrambled quarterbacks because your offensive line can't protect you. That just cannot happen. So if this Austin Pleasant guy could be some sort of depth, better than Barch, better than Zakelj, better than Burford, better than Feliciano, if he can go out there and prove himself that he's a backup offensive lineman, I'll take it. I'll take that as a huge W. So, bro, it was sick. A Bears fan was in front of me, and when the Niners scored, I yelled down, do your thing, man. Do your thing. Just don't get in a fight. No fights. But yeah, talk your shit, man. Do your thing. Represent. Driving, can't talk. Just want to say, hey, I appreciate you supporting the show, Strawberry. Appreciate you're here, man. Appreciate your no Wolfing Poggy show today. Wolf Poggy had a lot of things come up for some reason, Sunday's just cramming full of shit. So we decided to move over the Poggy Show over to tomorrow, hopefully. I'll keep you guys updated as soon as possible. And I do apologize for the people who were looking forward to that because we were going to dive into draft prospects, mock drafts, etc. But just a lot of things came up, and so I do apologize on the short notice. Things just happen. So, and whenever I find out these things, when I always let you guys know as soon as possible in the community tab. Again, I found out this morning. So here we are. They left like at the beginning of the fourth quarter, as they should. I mean, the game was over. Dude. It was 38-13 at that point, I think. And I didn't get to watch the game, sadly. So, all right. So those are the players that are elevated. And the players that are elevated from the practice squad, not signed, are Alex Barrett, he's going to be a classic bring up from the practice squad type D lineman, I feel like, for years to come. Running back Keyshawn Vaughn, one of Larry Krueger's favorites. Running back Keyshawn Vaughn, he absolutely loves him. He actually thinks Keyshawn Vaughn is a starter. So, hey, we'll see that. Maybe he'll get some reps. I don't know. Maybe if a player gets hurt, he'll definitely get some reps. But Keyshawn Vaughn is going to be out there and play. And then, and speaking of running backs, so to kind of like segue into this, because I want to talk about this. Some people are like, oh, well, Guarendo's out and CMC's out, Mason's out. So there's no point of paying attention. False. This is a tryout for the running backs. This is a tryout for who should come back next year. Someone we should look into next year, just in case we lose Mason, just in case we don't draft another running back or anything of nature. This next couple games are going to be tryouts to Kyle Shanahan to be like, hey, I'm going to bring this guy back just in case. Hey, if he's available, I'll bring him back to the practice squad, etc. These next two games for Isaiah Abanikanda, I'm butchering that, and Patrick Taylor, this will be tryouts for those teams. So, for those running backs. And I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what Isaiah has to bring to us. I'm absolutely excited to see what Abanikanda can bring to us because I like his college tape, actually. And apparently Kyle did do some scouting on this running back. So maybe there's some potential there. We did pick him up from waivers. We did put him on the team. So we did put him on or did we promote him? Or has he been on the team? I don't know. I don't remember. All I know is we brought him on for a reason because Kyle liked him and likes his potential in the draft. And he's still relatively young. So I want to see more from him than Patrick Taylor. I've got a feeling – I know that Patrick Taylor got the start, but I truly want to see more from Abanikanda than Patrick Taylor because I think I've seen enough from Patrick Taylor. But I knowing Kyle, he's very into just playing one running back into the ground. He's just playing a one running back kind of guy. And I'm not looking forward to that. I want to see more of Abanikanda. And again, hopefully we see more of him. Fast guy, very athletic. And Kyle does do a good job of getting the most out of running backs. One of his best talents. He may not be good at drafting them in the third round, but he's good at them getting the 6th, 7th round, undrafted running backs. He knows how to turn those into stars. Like players that are a practice squad. So hopefully this might be one of them gems that Kyle Shanahan finds in Abanikanda. So, and I've heard that with the Jets actually liked him, but he just had to go. So we'll see how that goes. And then Patrick Taylor. As for Patrick Taylor, I like him. I like Patrick Taylor, but I just don't see. I feel like he's going to be up there with like Keyshawn Vaughn. Like he's going to be ahead of Keyshawn Vaughn, but I feel like Keyshawn Vaughn and Patrick Taylor are kind of like in the same tier. The only mystery, the only question mark is Abanikanda. So I want to see more from him. This running back situation is going to be interesting. But if Mason does end up going somewhere else, one of these running backs, Patrick Taylor or Abanikanda, are going to take that spot possibly. Because maybe we'll draft a running back in like the 6th or 7th round, but that kind of potential, yeah, there'll be a question mark on them. You want to see what they can do, but they are rookies and potentially probably won't be better than the vets in Patrick Taylor and Abanikanda. So that's what I'm looking forward to. 10 minutes. I'm like 10 minutes away from leaving. Hey, I'm jealous, man. I go to games all the time. Draft Ashton Jeanty. No, I don't think we should do that. I like him. I think he should have won the Heisman over Travis Hunter. That's just my opinion. And I love Travis Hunter. I'm a big fan of Travis Hunter. I want the 49ers to draft him. I like I like the fact that he is a 49ers fan, so there could be a bias there. But Ashton Jeanty needs to go to a team where he's going to be a starter and he's going to be able to take his career from the start and go on. Because running backs' career don't last very long, like 28 and 30 on average. Sometimes, not everyone can be Frank Gore, Adrian Peterson, going from 30 and on. It just doesn't happen every day. Ashton Jeanty could be that guy, but we don't know that, so you have to approach it that way. This man, Ashton Jeffrey, deserves to go somewhere where he's going to be the starter from the get and start his career from the get. And I don't like this because I'm a big fan of his, but he needs to go to the Cowboys. The Cowboys' biggest need is Ashton Jeffrey. Jeanty Jeffrey. Ashton Jeffrey. I want to say Ashton Jeffrey, and I do not know why. Ashton Jeanty, he needs to go to the Cowboys. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm trading up to get him. It is the biggest need. I like Ashton Jeanty better than Ezekiel Elliott. And I liked Ezekiel Elliott coming out of the draft. I think he's going to be better than him. And I think if Ashton Jeffrey goes to the Cowboys, I think he'll actually probably perform way better than Ezekiel Elliott did. And that is saying a lot. That is saying a lot. I don't want him to go there as a 49ers fan because obviously I hate the Cowboys with a passion. One of my top 3 most hated teams. But logically speaking, take my bias out of it, that's what I would do as a Cowboys fan. Ashton Jeffrey needs to go somewhere where he's going to start from the get. He's not going to start from the get ahead of CMC, regardless of the injury that he has. Kyle loves him way too much. Jordan Mason, if he comes back as a restricted free agent, he's going to get some reps. Same thing, Isaac Guerrero. It just wouldn't work, and we have a lot more bigger needs in the first round than Ashton Jeffrey. We need to get an offensive tackle, 110%. Maybe Frank Gore is doing well with drafting players. I don't know about that. I haven't heard anything about that. Dolphins don't get Waddle, and also they might not have Tyreek. They're going to have Tyreek in this game, if that's what you mean. But they're going to have Waddle next year. And Tyreek Hill, I've heard. I don't know what – I hate the fact that players use tweets as like some sort of like, hey, fans, bail me out. Hey, fans, I need you all to give me attention and give me that satisfaction of that the vindication of why I'm so upset and why I want to get out of this team. Stop it. Stop going to Twitter for your fucking problems, man. No, fan base isn't going to save you. The fan base is going to feel how they're going to feel. Okay? There's nothing they could do about it. And I'm so tired of it. Like, if you're going like using Twitter as some sort of like get out of jail free card, that's not the case. It just makes it worse, makes you look like a diva, and it's just gonna make people hate you, man. Especially the team that you're on. I hate people using Twitter as some sort of get out of jail free card. Some sort of like, hey, save me bullshit. Okay, it's so stupid. It's so dumb. Because the people that can get you out of it are the Dolphins. Is the team that drafted you, the team that signed you. Talk to them. It's between them. Because not only are you causing problems for the coaching staff, which is for your attention, you're causing problems for the team who don't deserve that bullshit. They don't make the choices. They don't make those decisions. They go out there and play and they do their thing. Like, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It drives me mad. And so if Hill wants to go out and say, oh, these are my top 5 quarterbacks, whatever, fine. But if you're going out there stirring drama on that shit with a megaphone, just being like, oh, hey, man, it's time for me to go, coach. And then literally the next day not stand on business and be like, oh, I didn't mean like that. You guys are totally taking it out of context. Whatever. Anyway, if he's on the move, if Tyreek Hill's on the move, should the 49ers pick him up? I would love it. I would absolutely love it. I'll be all for it. I know what I just said, but that frustrates me. But him as a player, for the 1 year, I think he'd be great for the team, and I would love to pick him up. But I think he's going to be like 30 years old this year, isn't he? Next year? I'm going to check Tyreek Hill's age. Tyreek Hill. Yeah, Tyreek Hill's 30 years old, okay? He's going to be 31 by the time it started the draft. I understand he's still fast, still relatively good at his job, But if he was on the 49ers, I feel like the 49ers would use him really well. Jet sweeps, screens, like everything you wanted out of Debo this year, you would probably still get out of Tyreek Hill at age 31, if not more. That speed, that agility, that juke ability, his ball carrier vision is there. And I can see the 49ers just – and it would also take a lot off CMC as well. If the 49ers could somehow get Hill, I don't think they will, but if they could somehow do that with Tyreek Hill, it would take the load off of CMC, and Kyle Shanahan wouldn't have to feel like to use him so much. Just imagine if you could turn Debo, like get rid of Debo and turn him into Tyreek Hill. Oh my God, dude. Imagine, bro. Imagine, dude. It would be fantastic. I would love it. But stop going to Twitter, man. Stop going to Twitter. I hate the Raiders the most. I used to hate the Raiders. I used to be really against the Raiders. They used to frustrate the shit out of me. But it's just because they used to be the Bay Area, and that's the whole Bay Area battle, so it kind of create that rivalry. But now they're in Vegas, right? They're in the AFC. You know, I have nothing against them anymore. I'm not surrounded by Raiders fans all the time. I do see them on social media every now and again, but I don't have any animosity towards them anymore. Like, I feel like since we won the last battle of the Bay in I don't remember what year it was, but we won that last battle. I don't really care. We got the W. It's done. Moved on. So they used to be one of my top hated teams, but now it's kind of like you're in the teens maybe, right? Do I want them to win another Super Bowl? No. But there's a lot of teams I don't want to win a Super Bowl. So my top hated teams are Seattle, Cowboys, and Steelers. Those are my three most hated teams. So I can't stand them. Because here in San Jose, you're either a Niners fan or a Raiders fan. That's true. I can see that because you kind of developed that culture there. So you probably I can see that if you live in San Fran or San Jose, somewhere around that area. I could see that still having Raiders fans there, especially since that culture was built there for so many years. The rivalry was built for so many years. That's pretty much why I hate the Seattle Seahawks so much, is because I lived in Washington State, born and raised. I don't live there now, but my God, I was surrounded by them 24/7 everywhere I worked, everywhere I partied. Doesn't matter. I was surrounded by them. And so I constantly heard all the bullshit, especially during the Russell Wilson era in Seattle. Unbearable. It was one of the hardest things I ever had to go through as a fan. Super frustrating, man. And if anything, it made me stronger, though. It made me stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger in the scenario where, like, if you go somewhere else outside of Seattle or wherever rivalry you go, right, it doesn't affect you as much. You don't see it as much, so it doesn't bother you as much. If that makes sense. So, yeah. I'm surrounded by Raiders fans everywhere. Yeah, I believe it, man. Stay strong, man. Stay strong. Stay strong. And if you ever move out, dude, it's going to probably be easier for you. Unless you go to Vegas, of course. So, all right. So that's the news on the Sebastian Gutierrez promoting Jalen Graham and Austin Pleasants. I'm very disappointed in Jalen Graham. I hope I can see more of him. I actually like Jalen Graham a lot. It's sad to see, not going to lie. But Jalen Graham, I hope I get to see him make some plays today and prove himself. We can bring him back next year. 'Cause I just have a soft spot for him, and I don't know why. I just always have. As for Austin Pleasants, I really want to see what he can do as a depth piece. Alex Barrett's always going to be a practice squad guy. That's probably be around for years to come. Same thing with Keyshawn Vaughn, one of Larry Krueger's favorites. And Larry Krueger's probably going to pound the door for him to be play. I'm not going to lie to you. He's probably going to say something like, have him do punt returns, have him do kick returns, have him go out there and just have a couple snaps. I feel like he's going to say something like that. And then go back to the injury situation. Guarendo's going to be out. Trent's going to be out. Bosa, Greenlaw are questionable. Beal Jr. is also questionable, but it is what it is with that. So let me drink my coffee. We'll get to the next subject. All right. So Dolphins versus 49ers. Let me do that again. Week 15, Dolphins versus 49ers at 1:25 Pacific time. Look, the Dolphins and 49ers are in the same boat. And I've heard some players from the Dolphins actually say this. The 49ers and the Dolphins have a lot to prove when who wants to be here? Who wants to fight? They're both picking somewhere in 15-ish area. I know the 49ers currently pick 15. Last time I saw from the mock drafts that I saw and that I was doing for the past week, they picked 15. The Dolphins are pretty much in the same boat. They're 6-8. They're not making the playoffs, man. If there's any team that's 6-8 right now that's going to make the playoffs, it would be the Bengals. The Dolphins are just not going to make it. I feel like both teams are going to go out there and try to prove themselves, like who wants to be there and who doesn't want to be there. Is Tua like still that guy? Can he beat the 49ers? Because the 49ers tend to beat the Miami Dolphins. So we'll see what happens there. Brock Purdy's favorite team growing up was actually the Miami Dolphins. And I'm a little shocked by that. I'm not going to lie. I kind of thought Purdy's team growing up would be the Arizona Cardinals, considering he was born and raised in Arizona. But it turns out his favorite team was the Dolphins. His favorite quarterback of all time is Dan Marino. So I think that this game is going to be hard fought. I think you're going to see a better game than you expect. I think you're going to see a lot more scoring. I think you're going to see a lot more effort. I think you're going to see a lot more rookies at that, and a lot bigger plays. I just feel like both these players are going to play as if there's a playoff spot on the line. Because technically there is, if you really want to look at it. But literally the last game against the Seattle Seahawks and Rams, it has to end in a tie. We have to win out, beat the Lions, win out, and it has to end in a tie. So it's over, right? Like, it's a bloody miracle if we go. But I feel like these teams are going to fight as if they still have a playoff chance. And that's what I love to see. Especially, and I know I keep saying this, but I just feel like it's a big deal because after the 49ers lost to the Rams, you guys know me. I'm usually really energetic, and I still have that faith in me, man. But after that loss, I was, like, defeated. I was beaten. I was literally like, waiting for the press conferences, like, I'm upset. I was really defeated. But after that press conferences and after seeing George Kittle, Bosa, Ward, Lenore, all the captains out there, even Kyle Shanahan even, I felt re-inspired. I felt like there's a reason to keep watching this team, and I loved it. And that's respect to the culture. This culture is fantastic, especially after what Devondre Campbell did after quitting the team. It revitalized me. It made me feel a lot better about my team. Because if those players who are going through it, who went through all of that, went through the worst season of all time for any NFL team, and I truly mean that, the worst luck ever known to man, and still come out of it like, hey, we're going to fight for this team. We're going to fight for the culture. We're going to fight to see who wants to be here and who doesn't. That was like, what the fuck? Out of the players who went through it was like, hey, guess what? We're still going to fight. So me as a fan, why should I give up? If they're out there doing the work and football is outside of my control and I'm going, why should I be when they're not doing that? No, I need to represent still and be part of this team. That's the difference between when someone says, why do you say we? Because we still go out there and we represent. We go out there and we take that shit. We go out there and we're going to take this losing season on the chin. People are going to talk shit, say the things they need to say, and we're still going to represent the team. We're going to pay for the tickets. We're still going to buy all the products, everything, and we're still going to say bang, bang, Niner game. But for the people out there that are giving up, talking shit, don't believe in this team, not promoting this team, saying, hey, you guys suck, and then you respond with, yeah, I know that. Yes, those people saying I can understand those people. But if those teams out there, but if the players are saying I'm not giving up, then fuck yeah, I'm not giving up. I'm going to represent this team. I'm going to believe in this team. I'm still going to look at what the rest of this season can represent. I'm going to go out there and do that. It revitalized me, man. I felt defeated after that game. Watching that the post press conference brought it back, dude. Bang, bang, maybe. Bang, bang, man. That's what I felt about that. His dad grew up in Florida and was a Dolphins fan. I heard something like that. I heard that too. So that would make sense. Dan Marino. I know I made a joke about Dan Marino earlier, and I was like, I know a lot of people respect Dan Marino, but I just saw this joke where I don't know if you guys seen this short where he was just like, yeah, there's no defense for the perfect pass. and I can throw the perfect pass. I'm like, dude, you fucking lost the Super Bowl and haven't won a Super Bowl. So you may be able to do it, but you clearly couldn't do it consistently. So, and I made that joke, and I hope it didn't hurt anybody's feelings. It's just a joke. Sometimes I make jokes, and they're not too personal. You know, the only teams that I really feel like I have like some true hate behind is the Seattle Seahawks, Cowboys, and Steelers. Outside of that, everything's just usually jokes. I respect Dan Marino. I know Dan Marino is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He throws one of the most beautiful balls ever. And yes, he can throw a perfect pass. Just to clarify. That team is to like the Dolphins too as well. One of the things, and I'm going a little on a tangent here. One of the things that a Dolphins fan can hang on their hat on is that they're the only team in the NFL to have a perfect season and win a Super Bowl in that perfect season. So, like, being a Dolphins fan, you'd be like, oh, you got Dan Marino, but yeah, he didn't win a Super Bowl. You still have a Super Bowl, and you still have a legacy. You know what I mean? Compared to the Lions, who don't really have one, the Browns don't really have one, the Texans don't really have one, the Jags don't really have one. There's a lot of things to look at there. So, yeah. Jimmy's got hurt. Jimmy G got hurt mid-game. Purdy's first time playing was versus Dolphins. Jimmy Hurt got first. Yes, he did. He when he got hurt. So this is my reaction to the. And I see you, Dolphins fan. I'll get to your comment in a second. When Jimmy G got hurt and Brock Purdy went in there, I had no expectations. My expectations, I had none. I was like, this guy's going to go out there. He's going to throw multiple picks. He's going to lose this game. It's over. But I'm still going to watch. You know, I like my 49ers, you know. And he just kept, like, I was like, oh, that was a good throw. Oh, that was a good play. Oh, my God. They kept blitzing him. And usually a rookie quarterback at that stage, 7th round pick, falls apart. He kept making play after play after play. Even though there were some of them were checkdowns, I get it. But, like, you would think in those moments, like some quarterbacks would just fall apart. And at that moment on, and the next week against Tampa, elite play. I fell in love with the quarterback after week after week after week. And then when his season was over, the PCL, I was like, okay, I'm not going to sit here and say he's elite, but my God, is he better than a 7th round pick? My God, is he better than Jimmy G? At the end of that season, I knew it. Right? I was like, we're going to start this guy next year. Even with Trey Lance hurt, I knew it. And after 5 games, after the 5 stretch where he was just playing elite ball, through 5 games of last year, not this year, but last year, he had one of the greatest passer ratings of all time. Fell in love with the dude. The dude gave me one of the greatest, most fun. I know we lost the Super Bowl, but he gave me one of the most roller coaster, fun belief. It was like, well, Jimmy G, what he carried was like, oh, yeah, he's a burden on team, but, you know, it's the best option. We're still going to win games, blah, 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 you know, whatever. With Brock Purdy, there became an expectation. There became a belief. There became faith that when he was in the game, I was super excited. I was thrilled. I was like, oh, my God, it's Sunday, and we're going to watch some football. It's not like, oh, my God, it's Sunday, and Jimmy G's going to go out there. It's going to be a boring-ass game, check down, yak, blah, blah, blah. No, there was big play after big play after big play, and I fucking loved it. God, I know I just glazed the shit out of Brock Purdy, but that's how I felt. I think he's the best quarterback we had since Steve Young, man. I'm a big fan of Brock. Dolphins fan here. I'm ready for this game. It's going to be a good one. 110%, man. It should be a good one. Autistic out in the house. Like I said, I do think that both teams are going to fight as if there's a playoff spot on the line, as if they're still going to go to the playoffs. So I still think it's going to be a combative team. I feel like they have something to prove when it comes to the players, when it comes to the culture, especially since the history with Mike McDaniel and Kyle Shanahan. They're going to want to beat each other, They're going to want to beat each other up and try to win the game because that's just how it is, man. When you're of a brotherhood or a previous head coach or whatever, no matter how you feel about it, they're going to want to beat each other regardless. So I do expect a good game here still. I still expect a good game, and that's why I'm kind of excited. That's why I'm still a little thrilled about this game. I'm not like, season's over. No, I think we're going to see a good game, bro. I think we're going to see a good game. Salvador, sorry on the host. 49ers 24, Dolphins 21. I could see that. Maybe if Jake Moody can make a kick, that'd be great. Purdy's first time playing was versus Dolphins. Who's Jimmy G? Jimmy G was how do I start this? He used to play for the Patriots. The 49ers signed him after 5 games to a record deal at the time. I don't remember the numbers. I think it was like $29 million or something like that. It was Jesus Christ. Now think about just how much quarterbacks get paid now. But Jimmy G used to be our quarterback. He choked. He's the reason why we lost the Super Bowl. I 110% blame him for losing the Super Bowl in 2019, the fucking worst one ever. That was the worst. I know I say this before. I'm going to keep saying it. The Ravens won. I understood. We were blown out. We didn't deserve that W. We went into OT with Brock Purdy. We got closer than any other team to beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. But that 2019 one, we should have fucking won it. And he was the reason we lost. He fucking choked so hard, dude. So hard, man. He was a bum. And now he was a bum with the Raiders. And now he's a bum backup for the Rams. Balling's but not much. He is a QB. That's fair. Okay, he's washed. He's definitely washed. He was always washed, in my opinion. He was on the Patriots, and 49ers, and Raiders, and now Rams. Yep. Debo Broads knows his football. He's a backup on 3 out of those three teams. He does have 2 Super Bowls, technically. But, I mean, I would have 2 Super Bowls if I was Tom Brady's backup. Just saying. Wait, isn't it Garoppolo? That's with the G stamp? It does. People call him Jimmy G. He got sacked. Should the 49ers go after Kirk Cousins? Dude, no. The 49ers need to sign Brock Purdy right when the playoffs start or until the Super Bowl starts. I knew this was going to happen. No matter what, ever since Kyle said that he wanted Kirk Cousins in 2018, he's forever been connected to the 49ers. Even when he signed the contract, the next year in Minnesota, when the Minnesota Vikings moved on from Kirk Cousins, then he went to the Falcons, he was connected to the 49ers. He's not going to the 49ers. Not to mention he's washed at this point. He's not the same guy. He's not nearly as good as Brock Purdy. And again, his agent is stupid good, and I do not need to see the 49ers get fleeced. Okay, I do not need to see a contract that would have been given to Brock Purdy that would be given to Kirk Cousins because his agent knows witchcraft. Okay, it's just not happening. I do not see the 49ers picking him up as a backup because there would just be a controversy left and right. But Kirk Cousins forever, as long as Kyle Shanahan is a head coach, as long as Kirk Cousins is not retired, he will forever, every single year, be connected to the 49ers, and it's time to move on from him. Kirk Cousins is the same guy. He's a backup quarterback at this point. Maybe next year he can redeem himself, but he cannot see the field anymore. He is not good. The interceptions he has thrown this year have been atrocious. There is no justification. There's no the receiver just kind of fucked up, blah, 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 blah. No, he's just been throwing the most horrendous interceptions. So, no, I would say no to Kirk Cousins, and it's going to hurt me throughout the entire offseason or until Brock Purdy gets signed. It's going to be nothing but Kirk Cousins to 49ers, Kirk Cousins to 49ers, Kirk Cousins to 49ers, Kirk Cousins to 49ers. We're always going to hear that. Especially hater 49er content creators, they're going to cling to this. They're like, ooh, it's content. Oh my God, Kyle Shanahan once liked Kirk Cousins back in 2018, so let's keep talking about that. And it's like, dude, sometimes coaches move on. Sometimes, man, the player gets worse and he doesn't come back. So, no, I do not think the 49ers should sign Kirk Cousins. I don't think Kirk Cousins will be a 49er. Heck, you could say Kirk Cousins was the same guy as he was in Minnesota. I don't think they would sign him because Brock Purdy is better. 49ers need to sign Brock Purdy as soon as possible from the playoffs to the Super Bowl in that time frame to get that narrative out of the way. The longer they drag this out, the longer Kirk Cousins is going to be attached. Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, they're all going to be connected to the 49ers until Brock Purdy gets that contract. So sign him as soon as possible. Strawberry's on board with that. He totally understands where I'm coming from when I say that. Sign him as soon as possible so that way we can jump into the content of should the 49ers have given Brock Purdy the contract and signed Kirk Cousins? I'd rather have that conversation because that's going to happen. I want you guys to know that. There's going to be a conversation of, oh, should have Brock Purdy been signed and shouldn't they have signed Kirk Cousins instead? It's going to happen. It's always going to happen. And I'm just not ready for it, dude. I'm so tired of, and I'm not trying to come at you. I want this to be clear, Salvador. I'm not coming at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not saying you're allowed to ask that question. Truly, you're allowed to be like, hey, I think we should. That's fine. But it's just every year, every single year, this dude gets brought up by content creators left and right, pushing that narrative of going to get him. Just because Kyle said one time in 2018, I wanted him, and that was my plan. It's just so I'm just tired of people bagging on Brock. Like Kyle's even said, like people, even if you don't like Brock, let's say I don't like Brock. Let's say you don't like Brock. Kyle likes Brock. Kyle looks at Brock as a Kirk Cousins of 2018, if not better. Kyle has called Brock Purdy a franchise quarterback. John Lynch has called Brock Purdy a franchise quarterback. So no matter what of how you feel about it or how I feel about it, they feel this way. And if they think that Brock Purdy's a franchise quarterback, you can count on him being signed. You can count on him being the starter. It doesn't matter how I feel or you feel. They feel this way. Brock is going to get signed. He's going to be the starter of this team. There has been no talk of if he gets a contract this offseason. There's been no talk of this offseason they're going to start talking about contract. No, they've been talking about contract all year long, and it's been nothing but get it signed as soon as possible. It's been nothing but numbers are already coming out. Numbers of his contract are already coming out right now. Usually around this time, it's in the offseason you hear stuff like this. Before the draft, you hear stuff like this. Before free agency. No, we're hearing it during the season. This motherfucker is going to get signed between the playoffs and Super Bowl. You're already hearing numbers. And if you're already hearing numbers at this point, the length of the contract, the weird number like 59 million, 58 million to 50 million to 60 million, it's going to happen. So we're not getting Mac Jones. We're not getting Zach Wilson. We're not getting Aaron Rodgers. We're not getting Kirk Cousins. All those quarterbacks would cause nothing but controversy, cause nothing but problems. The 49ers are probably going to bring back Brandon Allen or some other quarterback, maybe Teddy Bridgewater, who under-retired. They're going to bring him back. They're going to bring back a quarterback who's not going to cause a controversy. Heck, they might have Tanner Mordecai be that guy. Or they might draft a backup quarterback in the 7th round. But they are sure as hell not going to draft a quarterback where every single content creator, not even just 49ers content creators, are going to say, oh, Kirk Cousins is a backup. Brock Purdy needs to watch his back, even though he just signed a contract, because that's going to happen. So we need to get on board with that. And I want you guys to prepare for it. There's going to be a lot of talk about the 49ers picking up Kirk Cousins. There's going to be a lot of talk about the 49ers picking up a lot of quarterbacks until Brock Purdy gets paid. Now, you need to prepare yourself. Winter is coming. Winter is coming. All right? Probably shouldn't do this as I'm saying it, but I'm trying to replicate a sword, guys. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. All right. I think heck no, never say that again. He already got benched. Michael Penix Jr. I like Penix Jr. I know that Larry Krueger thinks Penix Jr. was the best quarterback in this draft. So we'll see how Penix Jr. plays. I like Penix Jr. I don't know if he's the best quarterback in this draft, right? At the time, I didn't like the pick because you saw – okay, at the time of a draft, right? Even if this happened, I don't even know if I still think I like this pick. The dude is older, right? You sign this dude. You sign Kirk Cousins to a massive contract, right? The pick, like you could have got a better player to help Kirk Cousins, but what helps the argument in retrospect is the fact that I feel like you could have had any weapon out there. You could have given Kirk Cousins the Minnesota treatment of T.J. Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, Addison, Aaron Jones, and that amazing offensive line, and Kirk Cousins still would have been bad this year. I think Kirk Cousins just would have been bad regardless. So in retrospect, it was a good decision because of this. But they do need to get criticized for signing him in the first place, coming off an Achilles tear at 34 years old. There still needs to be some criticism towards that, but they made the right decision, apparently, in retrospect, of drafting Michael Penix. Because now he's starting, and we'll see what he got out of him. Keep in mind, guys, Patrick Mahomes didn't start until like week 15, week 16. Looked all right. Then the next year looked fantastic. Brock Purdy did not play at all until week 13. Looked fantastic. Michael Penix might look great next year. He might look okay this year. But I do believe that quarterbacks should sit behind a year because the proof is in the pudding. Truly. Usually more often than not, when a quarterback sits, they do great because their confidence isn't shot. Right? They don't get their ass beat all the time. They don't start to second guess themselves and their talent. Right? I feel like they get to know the playbook more. They get to know the cadences more. They get to know the players more, connect with the players more. I think it's such a big deal. And I feel like not enough teams do that. It's kind of like we're coming back to Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams got screwed over because he had to come in there immediately and perform. Do I think he's as good as like advertised? No. He went in there with a great situation. But he needed to sit behind somebody and learn behind that quarterback. And I think he got screwed over there. Tua's going to last a couple more years with the concussions he's getting. Yeah, I don't think he's one more hit away, man. He's already looking a little Antonio Brown-esque, if I do say so myself. He's been a little bit more rebellious. He's been a little bit more aggressive in his press conferences, and sometimes his sentences don't make sense. I've seen some of his press conferences. Some of Tua's press conferences don't make sense. And he's already got the hair. He already changed his hair. And we all know Antonio Brown did that shit. Tua did the same thing. After his concussion, comes back. Yeah, man, I dyed my hair. It's a sign of the times, yo. Tua is one hit away, man, from being Antonio Brown, I think. He needs to retire. 110%. For real. Once I saw that one against the Bills, I thought it was over. Yeah, dude. I think that's like his third fencing position. I advocated for him to retire. The man needed to go. He needed to retire. He needed to take his talents and, be an advocate for CTE, maybe even be a coach or something if he still wants to get into football. But I still think that this man is one head injury. The dude had a concussion from the most basic tackle. Basic. I mean, what was it? I think he hit his head on some dude's bicep and he got a concussion. Unreal. Like the dude does not have the most secure dome in the world. And that's okay. Not everyone's the same. Not everybody has the same bone structure. I guess bone structure, but they don't have the same bone density, etc. Skull, all that. Everybody's different. And his just so happened to have a weak ass skull to where his brain is prone to concussions. The dude is injury prone at that. I don't know how many injuries that guy's had. So it's time. I'm afraid. I'm a little afraid for him, but there is people are right there where it's like, it's not my job to tell him that. I could say it. I could be like, hey, you shouldn't go out there and do it. But his family, his wife, his best friends should have more say in the matter and should have a say in the matter compared to me or you or anybody else that doesn't know him. That is really, I can tell you my opinion, and I think he should retire, but it's up to the people around him, the echo chamber he surrounds himself with, to say something, to protect him from himself, right? Because he's not going to listen to me. He's not going to listen to the masses that's outside of his, the people he cares about, the people he doesn't feel like he has to fight off, So it's kind of with the Travis Hunter thing with his girlfriend. Like, we can say all these things and believe it, and I do believe that she is a gold digger, but it's like, I'm not going to convince him. The masses are not going to convince him. The memes sure as hell are not going to convince him. The only people that can help him are His father figure in Deion Sanders, his best friends, people that are close to him. And sadly, usually athletes surround themselves with an echo chamber where none of them will give them pushback. Be like, hey, you're a millionaire, and that usually just happens. It's sad, but that's the reality of it. I'm not going to convince him. You're not going to convince him. Two needs to think about his family in the second half of his life. Brain damage doesn't get better. Yeah, the dude's going to like – we talked about CT a few times already on the show throughout this entire season, especially when we dove into the Tua situation. Literally, once you're done with that, because I'm not saying this is a good thing, but with football, when you have that adrenaline rush and you just go all the time, your CTE doesn't exactly come into play because you're playing a game, right? But after that game, where are you going to use that adrenaline? Where are you going to use that frustration? Where are you going to use that agitation? Because when you have CTE, you get agitated easily. You get irritated easily. You get discomfort in your head. You struggle to say sentences. You struggle to hear the sentence in your head and speak it through your mouth. It's reality. You get blurred vision. It's terrible. And then you go through very dark thoughts, right? You start to feel isolated from the world. Things start to not make sense to you. And when that happens, when you feel like the world doesn't make sense to you, everyone starts to become like a little bit of an enemy. So it's just, you need to take care of your brain. And it's so sad to see the fact that this man is playing football, which is a distraction for him, with that adrenaline rush that he constantly gets, that escape he constantly gets. The moment that he no longer has that escape and he goes through all these symptoms, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for the guy. And he's one hit away from being Antonio Brown. Truly. Filthy Casual in the house. Appreciate it. Would you like to see what Dobbs can do starting regular season games? Just want to see if he can improve as a reclamation project like Darnold. No, I still want to see Brock out there. If he's not 100%, if he's dealing with injuries or whatever, then no. But if he's 100%, like he says he is, I still want to see him out there because the rookies like Pearsall, Cowing, Patrick Taylor, Abani Conda, that offensive line, where some of them will probably come back. Those players, he's still going to play with next year. So there are valuable snaps that Brock Purdy can take in game, especially in a game where you know the Dolphins are going to try, you know Kyle's going to try, you know the 49ers team is going to try. So I don't want to see Dobbs. I don't want to see Brandon Allen. I still want to see Brock Purdy out there get those valuable reps with Pearsall and Cowing. I definitely want to see a lot more Pearsall and Cowing in this game. I definitely want to see a lot more Abani Conda than Patrick Taylor, just because he's a mystery, he's a question mark. I want to see what we got from him. But yeah, I want to see Brock out there just because we need to build that chemistry. We need to see what he can do with Pearsall and Cowing. So I like Dobbs. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good backup. I think he really wants to win games, and he's proven that he can win games. Maybe not consistently, but that's what a backup does. A backup's not supposed to go out there and consistently win games because then they're not a backup. Backup quarterbacks maybe win you 2, 3, 4 games tops, right? That's their job. So I already know Dobbs can do that. I like Dobbs. I think Dobbs is better than Allen. But the reason why Kyle Shanahan plays Allen over Dobbs, is because Allen will do exactly what Kyle Shanahan says, while Dobbs will look at his first read and then rebel and just really sacrifice his body in a run and try to get something done. So, yeah. Dobbs ain't the future, no. Maybe a future backup. I'll bring him back as a backup. I like him as a backup. We're not Brian in the house. Brock Purdy is the future in all caps. I agree. He's going to – like I said, I've been right. Taking a victory lap here, y'all. I've been right about everything. Okay? I've been right about – and I know not everything, but I've been right about most things that a lot of people have thought were controversial. I was right about Ayuk signing, and that everything about Steelers may have been true. Like, okay, there have been some talk. But I knew that he was going to come back. I knew they were going to sign that contract. I knew he wasn't going to get traded in the draft. I knew he was going to get traded in June, July, whatever. I knew all that. I even called it and go back and check. Called it. I knew that CMC was going to come back in November, not December, when everyone else said that he was going to either be out the rest of the season, he's going to come back in December, whatever. I said, no, he's going to come back in November. Right about that. I was right about the exact day that Trent got re-signed when he got extended. I said to you, I was like, you guys come back to this. He's going to get signed on I think it was a Monday. I was like, when he comes in for the 49ers, he's going to sign an extension, guaranteed. And on the exact day, I was correct. So I'm making another prediction. Okay. The 49ers are going to sign Brock Purdy between the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Count it. I'm 3-0 right now. I'm 3-0 on predictions, big ones. All right, that a lot of people are saying is not going to happen. Brock Purdy's going to get signed by contract between the playoffs and the Super Bowl because that's when he can get extended. When the season is over, regular season is over, Brock Purdy's officially eligible for an extension. And they're going to take advantage of that, and they're going to sign him between playoffs and Super Bowl. Hold on to that prediction. Watch. Just watch. Just watch. It's going to happen. All right. 1 hour show, guys. Let's go, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I was a little concerned. I was like, I don't know if we could do a 1 hour show, man. Like I just canceled the Wolfie and Poggy show. I had to move it. I had to think of like a bunch of subjects to get things moving around. Didn't know if this show could last an hour, man. I was scrambling for things to talk about, and we did it. You guys did it, man. Thank you guys so much. You guys make this show what it is, man. Did not expect this show to last this long. Truly, great conversation. And, of course, before we get out of here, we have predictions to get through for the week. The games are going right now. I have no idea what the scores are, so we'll go ahead and jump into the predictions right now. We'll go ahead and bring that up. Bringing it up. All the way up. All right. Bring it up. Boop. All right. Here are the predictions that we're going to make right now. Poggy has sent me his predictions, so there is no cheating. There is no like, oh, I was going to pick this guy. Crap. No, we're going to pick the predictions. We're not counting the games that were yesterday or Thursday. We're only doing the games that are today, predictions-wise. So we're going to jump into that. And, of course, the tiebreaker is the over-under. So let me check the over. I need to see what the over-under is for the Dolphins-49ers game. 49ers over-under. Let's see what we got. Let me check. All right, so the over. Fuck off, CBS. That's not what I need. Look for the over-under. Fuck off, man. These ads are getting out of control. All right, so the Dolphins. All right, so the 49ers are favored by 1.5. And the over-under is 44.5. Tiebreaker is the score of the game. Is the over-under. So if he takes the over, I'm going to probably take the under. If he takes the under, I'm probably going to take the over. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Jumping into this. And be sure to give your predictions, guys. I want to hear what you guys say. I want to hear what you guys think. Who you guys think is going to win this win. And we'll go through it and have a conversation about it. All right. So here are – all right. So where is it? Browns at Bengals. And he picked the buddy. He doesn't have Bengals. He doesn't have the Bengals Browns on here. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Sorry. There we go. All right. I'm going to pick the Bengals for sure. So I just feel like that's obvious. The Browns aren't exactly, the greatest team right now. And the Bengals are hot. So I just expect this to be a straight up W. The Bengals are fighting for a playoff spot technically. And I would easily have Bengals over Dolphins any day making a playoff spot. So Falcons at Giants. I got the Falcons. I know apparently this is closer. 51% picked the Falcons, 49% picked the Giants. I understand the Giants have a backup quarterback coming into this game. The Falcons have Penix coming in there, but I still believe in Penix a lot more than whoever is the quarterback right now for the Giants. And the Falcons team, the Falcons just have more weapons. I won't say better head coach, but I just believe in the Falcons a lot more than I do believe in the Giants. Okay, the Giants are trying to get the number 1 pick, while the Falcons are trying to win games because they still can make the playoffs technically. So I got the Falcons. But I tell you what, I am super, super shocked that 49% picked the Giants. That is actually crazy. I feel like the Falcons one is a lock. I'm not gonna lie to you. Atlanta. He also picked Atlanta, so we're on the same pace. He says he picks the Bengals. He picks the Bengals. We'll go from there. All right, next up, Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. All right, I got the Lions, even with their injuries. Bears have a terrible interim head coach, and they don't really got enough going for themselves. And if I was the Bears, I would tank at this point and try to get more weapons or protection for, well, I guess protection. I would try to get an offensive tackle. If I was the Bears, number 1 priority is offensive tackle or offensive line somewhere. Number 1 priority. They just have the biggest hole there. Caleb Williams is the most sacked quarterback. That could be because of scheme and the way that Caleb Williams plays, because when you scramble a lot, even with your bad, it kind of makes it harder for the offensive line. But the offensive line is bad for the Bears. They need to draft offensive line, and I definitely got the Detroit Lions, even with their defensive woes. He's also got Detroit. Tennessee at Colts. He's got the Colts. Should I pick Tennessee? I just feel like Tennessee pulls this one off. I'm gonna come back to it. That might be the game. Rams at Jets. Obviously, I got the Rams on this one. The Rams are definitely on this one easily. I mean, the Jets almost beat the Seahawks, but the Rams are they just got a lot more going for themselves, I think. And the Seahawks are just crawling to the playoffs right now. They might not even win the division. The Rams might win it. Eagles at Commanders. He picked the Eagles. Every time I pick the Commanders, man, they lose. And I don't like picking the Eagles. I really don't. But I'm picking the Eagles. I can't be dumb. I just feel like the Eagles are hot right now, even if I don't like the team and I don't like Sirianni, etc. And I feel like the Commanders deserve it. I'm doing it. All right, Panthers at Cardinals. God, these are tough because I feel like I really want to go for the Panthers, because the Panthers are kind of playing hot. Bryce Young's playing pretty good. They almost beat the Cowboys, almost beat a couple good teams. But I'm going Cardinals as well. I just think the Cardinals are just that much better than the Panthers, even though the Panthers are playing better. Minnesota Vikings at the Seahawks. I'm going to pick the Vikings for sure. Poggy has also picked the Vikings. What else we got? Whoa, dude, look at that. Plus 13.5, negative 13.5. Damn, that's crazy. Obviously, the Bills. I'm sure he's got the Bills. He's got the Bills. Jags at the Raiders. Is Trevor Lawrence playing? Does Trevor Lawrence have a concussion still? Who's playing? God, these are tough games. I want you guys to keep in mind, man, if I lose this week, I lose the prediction battle. And if I lose the prediction battle, I have to do a punishment. I guess Trevor Lawrence is playing. That's tough. That's a tough one, man. Oh, my God. I'll come back to it. 49ers, obviously I got the 49ers win that one. They're not 49ers are not the favorites. I thought they were the favorites. Oh, that's crazy. All right. Bucks at Cowboys. I got the Bucks. Bucks are winning that one. W. Green Bay Packers at the Saints. I got the Packers. So the games that I'm confused on are Jags Raiders, which is a shit bowl. And then you got Tennessee Titans at the Colts. And I think that's the only one we disagreed on. Yes, the only one we disagreed on. Oh, my God. I know a lot of people want to be down on the Titans, but they're actually they have a good defense, and Will Levis could beat this Colts team. I don't know, guys. I'm torn. My life, I'm torn. I'm all out of faith. This is never real. Look at that spread too. Jesus. Who did he pick? Who did he pick? He picked the Jaguars. I'm going to pick the Raiders. I think the Raiders get the dub here. I think the Raiders are going to get the dub. I got the Raiders picking here. And then against the Colts. Fuck. I don't know, guys. I don't know. What should I do? Should I go Colts or Titans? Should I go Colts or Titans? I'm gonna go. Poggy says 30-23 Niners. So he's got the over. How much is 24-17? I'm gonna take the under of 44.5, and then I'm gonna pick the Titans. All right, so I'm picking Titans over Colts. Call me crazy, but I think the Titans pull this one off. I think the Titans pull this one off, and I'm going to pick the Raiders over the Jaguars. So those are the two games we disagreed on. And again, if the tiebreaker is the over-under against the 49ers and Dolphins game, so if the score is under 4 to 4.5, I get the W. If we tie the games, it's going to be Raiders versus Jags, Colts versus Titans. So hopefully one of those can get the W, and then we'll go with the tiebreaker, of course. So we all know how that works out. And keep in mind, whoever loses this, if I lose this week, right, the punishment is going to be eating a lemon on live. So I have to eat a whole lemon, not the peel, just the lemon inside. So you guys get the reaction still. I'm not eating the peel, okay? And Pog is not eating the peel, all right? You guys voted, and that's what you guys voted for, was eating a lemon on live, and that is the punishment. And we'll go from there. All right, guys, that is everything. That is the 49ers versus Dolphins. We talked about that. I think the score is going to be 24-17 49ers. Good luck to Autistic Owl. I wish you the best, man. It should be a good game. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. We talked about who's out. Garendo's out. Trent's out. Bosa. Greenlaw questionable. Beal Jr. is questionable. The 49ers waived Sebastian Gutierrez. Sadly, I kind of liked him, but he had to go. It wasn't that good because I'd rather see Austin Pleasant and see what he has to do as a depth piece for the future. Jalen Graham, also, I have a soft spot for him. He's also promoted. The 49ers elevated Alex Barrett, who's going to probably be around for the team for the foreseeable future on the practice squad. And Keyshawn Vaughn, which is a Larry Krueger favorite, is going to be the third running back on the team. So, yeah, that's everything. Oh, also, guys, if you guys don't know, Tyreek Hill is expected to play in this game. So, what else? And that's predictions. So that's everything. We talked about everything. Thank you guys so much for making this channel what it is. 49er Brian, thank you so much. Even though you came in late, I still appreciate you. Thank you so much. I agree. Brock Purdy is the future. Filthy Casual, as always. OG, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Brooks, bruh. I think it's supposed to be bruh. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Debo Prods, as always, thank you so much for your opinions, man. Clutch, Salvador, Osaria. Even though you brought it up, man, it wasn't towards you. It was just more like a lot of people are going to bring up this question. So it was just more being exhausted. So I appreciate you bringing up the question, man. Again, it wasn't towards you. It's just the idea of it just, Who else was in here? Autistic Owl, I saw you. You were in here. Strawberry Reacts, thank you so much. Even though you were driving, man, you still came here to support the channel. OG, as always, man, thank you so much. Strawberry, Proper 49er, thank you so much. Terror Dome, thank you so much, man. I got to check out your podcast. Guys, check out Terror Dome. He comes in here all the time, supports the channel. If you like 49ers talk, check him out too as well. He makes 49ers content as well. And Niners for life, man. Thank you so much. First comment. Usually you come in later, but hey, you showed up, man. Sup, man? Came right away. Appreciate you, dude, so much. Let me take a drink of water, man. My voice is dying. So I'm going to get out of here. And before I do, thank you guys so much. Truly, I know I just thanked everybody, but to everybody who watched this later, to everybody who supports this channel, gives this channel a like, subscribes. I have 3,500 more subscribers than I ever thought I'd get. And I'm going to keep saying that to the end, till the day this channel dies or until I die. Because I truly mean this. Like, this is such a huge surprise to me. And I'm extremely humble. This channel is nothing without you guys. The conversations I have are fantastic. This all started because when I watched Larry Krueger, Grant Cohn, David Lombardi, I always felt like I wanted to say something. I felt like I had an opinion and I wanted to speak it. And I didn't know what to make of it. And you guys came in here and you guys made this channel what it is, giving me a platform. And I thank you guys so much for it. And I appreciate it every single day. And man, it blew me away, my expectations. And it's because of you guys. So thank you guys so much. And we'll continue to have great conversations in the future. It's going to be fantastic. Sub to everybody who watches this later. Sub if you like the content. I appreciate you. Like to everybody who likes this live later. Thank you so much. It causes this video to be spread out amongst YouTube and more people can be part of the conversation as well. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart, my little 49ers heart. Every time you guys like this live, it goes from here to here. Bang, bang, Niner gang, all fam. I'll see you tomorrow for the Wolfie and Poggy show that's been postponed today. Bang, bang. Bang, bang.